And it takes time, but we can do this. You can ban chokeholds, but beyond that, you have to teach people how to de-escalate circumstances. De-escalate. So instead of anybody coming at you and the first thing you do is shoot to kill, you shoot them in the leg. There's ways.
Well, did you hear the nice old man? We can ban chokeholds. God damn it. And we can also shoot like fucking Dirty Harry out there, and we can knock motherfuckers right out at the legs. You don't have to shoot them in the head. Does this fucker really not get it? Like, oh my fucking god. So that was perfectly encapsulating what the shit happened last night at his town hall. And we're going to go through a couple of the different bigger questions that happened. And man, just a little background, he really started to go downhill at about the 45-minute mark, and then he just became, and tomorrow, I mean, we're going to be going over the Trump town hall because, oh boy, I'm sure you've heard it by now, but Savannah Guthrie was playing the part of that insufferable aunt that you always see right at those big family gatherings who's constantly nitpicking. She's like that cunty ex-girlfriend who's just not satisfied with anything. Oh, so now you're seeing her, huh? Oh, but that's besides the point. George Stephanopoulos, who was running this debacle, and we'll eventually get to his pressing of Joe Biden here in a couple questions worth, but oh my god. I heard it compared to an episode of Mr. Rogers, and I think that's very fair because there weren't too many follow-up questions, especially not from the audience. Nobody gave a semblance of a fuck out there, and it was just so ridiculously unnecessary, man. But yeah, as you can see, Joe Biden wants a bunch of sharpshooters on the police force, and we're going to go to the next hot button topic coming out of this one. Yeah, we're going to dive right into it. He got a question about a mother who is an immigrant who has 2 children, and her youngest, 8 years old, is transgendered. That's, nope. We'll throw to the question right now.
Hi, Mika, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm the proud mom of 2 girls, 8 and 10. My youngest daughter is transgender. The Trump administration has attacked the rights of transgender people, banning them from military service, weakening non-discrimination protections, and even removing the word transgender from some government websites. How will you, as president, reverse this dangerous and discriminatory agenda and ensure that the lives and rights of LGBTQ people are protected under US law?
So besides being a despicable human being and a real shit parent, this bitch wants to know that, all that mean stuff Orange Man said, you going to fix that? I spliced a couple of the answers together because Joe went on the, you've probably heard the story now, I was going with my father to get an application to work at a swimming pool in a black neighborhood, and 2 gay guys were together, and my dad said that's okay, back in 1938. I know, he was born in 42, but still. In the early 50s, that couple of queer people of color, we'll keep it politically correct today. Ugh. And you really think that story happened, or did he just kind of figure that out in the fucking back of his mind? But here's how old Creepy Joe answered it.
Well, flat out just change the law. Eliminate those executive orders, number one. The idea that an 8-year-old child or a 10-year-old child decides, I decided I want to be transgender. That's what I think I'd like to be. It'll make my life a lot easier. There should be 0 discrimination. And what's happening is too many transgender women of color are being murdered. They're being murdered.
So yesterday I did the story on how sexual preference got changed on the fly by Merriam-Webster. What do you think the mainstream media, if they were fair, what would they say to Joe Biden saying, you can choose to be transgendered? Yeah, that kind of slid under the radar. Haven't seen anybody really press anybody too hard on that one, but especially not George Stephanopoulos. And yeah, no follow-up to that one. That was just, oh yeah, I'll take care. First of all, Street Shooting Joe, I'm just going to change the rules because we should really look at all of those transgendered kids out there that definitely don't grow up to have a 40% higher suicide rate and don't regret their transition when they're fucking 8 years old, you disgusting human being. You know, you can't even make any sort of logical decision when you're fucking 8 years old. You want to be a fucking fire truck? You want to be a ninja? But yet you can decide whether or not you want to yank it off, cut it off, stuff it in, become sterile and mentally unstable. Yeah, we'll let 8-year-olds do that instead. And then, of course, we got on to the next question. I'm not going to cover every single question, like I said. These are just the heavy hitters because it was slow, arduous, and fuck were there a lot of breaks in this. It was an hour and a half long. I guess it was just a bragging point, so Joe can say that he went a half an hour longer than Donald Trump went. But Trump's town hall for an hour had 3 commercial breaks, and this one had, I didn't do the count, but boy, was it north of 3, and significantly so, and especially when you weren't having to fight your moderator. Yeah, made for very easy sailings. And here is the first question Joe Biden got about the Supreme Court, because all of these town halls, all of these impromptu debates are all of a sudden just retreading old ground, and they can't think of anything else. So here he was asked on his opinion on what is going on with the confirmation or the confirmation hearings, and if Amy Coney Barrett's going to be getting confirmed. And here's Joe's hot take on it.
I don't think it's appropriate. I think the Constitution implies. There's no provision in the Constitution. My problem is I made a mistake of teaching constitutional law for 21 years and the separation of powers. The Constitution implies that the way the people have a right to determine who's going to be on the court is how they vote for their senators and their president. We seek the advice and consent of the Senate and the
president's president for all 4 years, isn't he?
No, he is. But once an election begins, by implication, it is inconsistent with the constitutional principles, in my view. You get disagreement among scholars on this.
The only mistake that was made was the fact that anybody attended a Joe Biden class in constitutional law. The fucker finished at the bottom of his class, may I remind you. And kudos to George there for sacking up for a half second, saying the president's president for 4 years, right? Yeah, but Democrats aren't in power, is what I'm sure was probably rambling around that old weathered skull of Joe. And now we'll throw to what Joe has to say about packing the courts, and if he thinks that's a good idea or not, because we still haven't got clarification on what he thinks. On some interviews, he says, you'll know after the election. And in the past, he said he's not necessarily for it, because then there's no way of stopping it on either end, which I would agree with, but apparently Joe's handlers didn't think that that was a good position to have right now. So we'll throw to see what he actually has to say right now.
Well, I'm not a fan. I then say it depends on how this turns out. Not how he wins, but how it's handled. How it's handled. But there's a number of things that are going to be coming up, and there's going to be a lot of discussion about other alternatives as well.
What does that mean, how it's handled? How will that determine whether you're for expanding?
For example, there's actually real live debate on the floor. If people are really going to be able to have a time to go through this, I don't know anybody who's gone on the floor and that's been a controversial justice in terms of fundamentally altering the makeup of the court.
Well, go figure. He doesn't actually have a position to go on right now. I know, color me shocked, right? But this was the one case where George Stephanopoulos actually pushed back on Joe Biden, tried to make him answer the question, and here were the results.
You said so many times during the campaign, all through the course of your career, it's important to level with the American
It is, but George,
people.
if I say, no matter what answer I gave you, if I say it, that's the headline tomorrow. It won't be about what's going on now, the improper way they're proceeding.
But don't voters have a right to know where you stand?
They do have a right to know where they stand, and they'll have a right to know where I stand before they vote.
So you'll come out with a clear position before Election Day?
Yes, depending on how they handle this.
Wasn't that kind of what he said verbatim during the first debate? I don't know. Maybe covering all this Biden stuff has left me a little bit fuzzy on the details, but I seem to remember him saying, whatever position I take, that's going to be the headline tomorrow. And, how about just take a position? How about just take a position? If you're going to be spiteful, just say, fuck it, we're going to pack the courts. And if you want to be, I don't know, fair and honest and try not to set precedent, so the next time a Republican becomes the president, they won't pack the courts, so we don't end up with a Supreme Court that's fucking 31 people deep. I don't know. This town hall was absolute shambles, and it did not beat Trump in the ratings. I know everybody's shocked on that one, even though a bunch of TikTok individuals decided that they were going to stream on several different platforms, so they'd have their dad's iPad out and streaming it on their phone, like that's gonna fucking matter. And guess what? Trump still beat him in the streaming data, and I want to do that town hall so badly, but we're doing 3 videos a day here, and we're gonna keep to that, and hopefully that gave you a good snapshot of what happened with that fucking Joe Biden debate yesterday, because it was a pain. You can definitely watch it. ABC has clips out of it, and then they also have about a 3-hour stream where in the middle you can watch the entire hour and a half if you have several other brain cells that you'd like to donate to the cause. But yeah, hopefully that gave you a nice little 1,000-foot overview, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully appreciate my commentary as well. If there's anything that you'd like to discuss in, I don't know, these clips that I posted, or if you found anything hot in the other clips that were provided by ABC, or the questions that Joe was asked and didn't answer, okay, feel free to drop those in the comment section down below. I appreciate everybody giving me the time of your day, and I've been Don Consuelo. I want you guys to follow your gut. Get after it. Take care, everyone.